say that I need to be saved. Say with me, the devil got his way. I want to know how when you are praying, when you are doomsdaying, how you think you know that someone is listening to what you are saying. So you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral code derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder when we'll be rid of your life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Open Air Atheist Podcast. This is episode 17, and the song you just heard is Saved by Shelley Segal off her debut album, An Atheist Album, which you can find in iTunes and Amazon. Also, it is now the official Open Air Atheist Podcast theme song. Thanks to Shelley. Thank you. Got rid of that crazy 80s retro intro theme I had going there for a while. So this episode I have two guests, one by the name of CultofDusty, or can I say your real name?
Dusty Smith, yes, that's me.
All right, and John Rhines, who was on the last episode with me, Shelley, and Jeff D of the Atheist Experience. He's back with us. Awesome.
Hey, how you guys doing?
So we got the religious snitch of YouTube in the house.
Yep.
No, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I believe I've been talking with Lawrence Krause's publicist, and I think we have pretty much set a solid date for him to come on the show. It's going to be on a Thursday, so it will be 2/2/2012, and showtime will be 8:30, or actually 8 o'clock p.m. California time. So don't miss it.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, I'm a fan of your shows for life, man. You get really, really good guests on here. You had me nervous with Jeff last week.
Hey, Jeff is going to be coming back on because he said he was going to. So if I understand Jeff correctly, he will be coming back on again. So that would be cool. So I think before we get on to our main topic, we have actually a theist caller. Who would like to bring up...
Well, first, you got to tell this guy who we are. At least tell him who I am. He needs to Google me first to know what he's walking into before he gets into the situation, okay? Google Dusty Smith before we start talking.
Well, this is one way that he's going to figure out.
Okay, go figure it out real fast. All right, let's go.
So Chris is with us. Chris, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Florida.
All right.
Welcome, Chris. Welcome to hell.
All right, so you wanted to, just lay some stuff on us, maybe some objections that perhaps you have to, atheism or naturalism, and we're here to listen. Vent on us.
Chris.
Okay, first I want to say thank you to the Open Air Atheist for letting me on the program. Hope we have a nice exchange of ideas and we all learn something from this. First I want to say, ask you so I get an understanding of where we can go from here. Like, what is your moral philosophy? Is it relativism, nihilism?
My moral philosophy is that our morals come from empathy, which is is an offshoot from our ability to imagine, which is a very good evolutionary leap for our higher brain. And so nothing else is required to understanding my moral capacity except for the fact that I have an imagination that allows me to place myself in other people's shoes and know what they're going through. And I don't want to cause harm to the people that I wouldn't want to have caused to myself. Do unto others as you would have them doing at you. It has nothing to do with the Bible. It's a concept that predates the Bible by thousands of years, and it's a concept that is born from the fact that we have empathy.
And I'll add to that any choice that you would probably look at as morally good, or most people look at as morally good, often is made to help ensure the survival of mankind. Most of what you would probably think of as evil is someone with is a little bit more selfish and looking after themselves. So, like, if you take an example of murder, murder is not good for mankind, because if someone can get up and kill another person, then another person can do it and people could all die out. But a person that does this, that you may consider this to be evil, this person is being more selfish, and he may have something, the other person may have something that he wants or whatever. So
it's
most of the things,
opinion-based.
yes, it all comes with the survival of mankind.
Now, my position, and I would have hoped that, because I'm sure you saw my the video that I posted this morning, and I did briefly, I think, go over a little bit about my position, but I did refer people to my site, and that's ecclesiaofrealism.blogspot.com, where I have, I refer people to that site because it has my position on morality and many other things right there, so you can just look at it and know my position and not strawman my position. But basically, I hold that meaning, morality, and purpose are the product of conscious beings. That is why these things exist, is because we have consciousness. And you also see morality in animals. You see empathy in animals. Actually, there's herd of cattle have been known to gang up on a pride of lions to protect their young. I would consider that a moral action. So yeah, I guess I kind of do have a, I don't know if you would classify it as nihilistic, but I would hold, I wouldn't necessarily hold to an objective morality depending on what you mean by objective, because I've heard a lot of different twists on that terminology.
I don't even think it's that hard. I mean, if you look at every decision that's based upon a good or evil, it all depends on, could it help humanity survive? You're getting empathy and things from your environment, something that you empathize with, you may not empathize with if you were in a different culture.
Right. It seems to be, what you're saying is, it seems very utilitarian, and I would agree with that. I mean, definitely. But Chris, what do you have to say thus far? I mean, have we given you enough information, or do you need more?
It seems like we have basically something about like subjectivism, like where we think that nothing's absolute, just kind of indifferences that I'm getting here, or just personal opinions. I think we agree on that, or am I misquoting someone?
I would say that absolute truths may be possible, but the human mind can never know absolute truth, because you would have to possess 100% of the information to know anything for the absolute truth. Therefore, absolute truths are meaningless when you come to the limitations of the human mind. So the best we can do is probability. So, yeah, nothing is absolute as far as the human mind can know.
Okay, I just want to just ask a question. So if I were to say I wanted to kill that child over there, what would you say could counter that, why I shouldn't do that? That would make me have to obey it.
According to what my definition that I just gave you, if you go kill that child over there, somebody else can go kill this child and kill that child and kill all these children, and that's not good for mankind.
If you kill that child, I'm going to beat your ass. That's what I would say. Do not kill children.
Okay. Well, you said that it could kill no one, then we go and sing. But why? I got a question. Why, if I was a person who just didn't care if anyone lived, there are people out there who want humanity to die because we're making animals go extinct, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Why would I need to follow that? I just want to know, like, why should we just have no laws and just, like, why should humanity live? It's like, just because
are you a psychopath?
We agree on it.
Here's the question. Are you a psychopath? Do you have the ability to feel empathy for others?
Oh, the question is not do you feel like it's wrong, because that's irrelevant. I think we got past that. That's irrelevant. If you feel
it's not irrelevant.
Wait, hold on.
Your empathy is not irrelevant. Well, how can your empathy be irrelevant?
Hold on a second. Okay, so it seems to me that you seem to be associating morality with logic, and I don't know if I would agree. I think by definition, morality is arbitrary.
No, it's not. That's not the problem. Like, I'm not saying that that we have to all agree on. I'm just saying, though, you would say that basically, I'm saying, why should we all agree that, let's say, someone out there says, I don't want the children to live anymore. Why should we? How's he more right or wrong?
Okay.
We're all going to go instinct because he might not care. Obviously, a psychopath wouldn't care.
Well, you're not going to go instinct because more people are going to care that humanity survives. So these people will take out the person that could cause the problem, that could cause the humanity to die. So if this one person is incapable of getting it, you ever seen like Lord of the Flies or Lost or people on an island and how they deal with someone who doesn't get along with everyone else who could harm the little small numbers that they have. It wouldn't.
Well, like I said, I got a question though. The question is like that's all nice and dandy about we can keep on killing, just lead to death. I understand it. That's not a problem. But let's say I want to save the animals. That's my philosophy. I want animals to live, and I believe we're killing them. And I don't really need a good reason because it's just killing. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you can't say it's wrong just because you believe it. You disagree with them. You can say, well, it leads to death and all that, but if he doesn't care about that, there's no reason we should all just start following it or following a specific philosophy on when it comes to why something is wrong. I mean, it doesn't fit. You get why is something bad?
It's because it's not for the good of society. We build our society to be what's good for the majority of society.
That society agreed to that. Does that mean? What about let's go to the Holocaust, where they said that?
Well, right. Well, now you're getting in. Right now you're getting into. Because hold on. So far, you've argued just about everything I used to argue from when I was an open air preacher from a stool. Now you're going to go into what we call a subjective or cultural relativism, and I understand where you're going with this. Okay, because I used to argue the same thing. If you're saying that morality is decided by the majority or by the one with the most power, then that's might makes right. Well, then, if let's say tomorrow the majority of society decided that, raping little kids was okay, would it be okay? Because more people decided it would be okay?
That would be kind of on your side because I would agree objectively, that's what I believe, objectively, that's wrong, no matter what society
Okay, but where do you get your objective?
I just want to give an example. Let me finish real quick. I'll let you go, I promise.
How do you ground that?
Say, I don't know if Dusty Smith has a child or something like that. Let's say I just felt like, I'm kind of in the mood for children today, and I'm just, I feel like there's a good from it because I'm going to be happy, but I don't really need to care like what makes her happy or him or whoever the child is or whom.
Okay, so you're a psychopath. So what you're saying is that's
wait, I got a question.
Okay,
but what makes a psychopath wrong and a normal person wrong? You have to first distinguish that. You can't just say,
all right, hold on, peeps. Hey, let's not talk over each other. Let's one at a time here because it's not going to be good sound quality if we talk over each other.
It's coming back to the same answer, though. Go ahead, Dusty.
I mean, it's silly. Basically, you're saying that empathy doesn't matter. Empathy is all that matters.
I got a question. Why should it matter? That's the question. And you can't use something that, I believe that humans want to live and all that, because that's your opinion. No one, if I were to go up and say, I'm sorry that animals are dying, so I'm going to start blowing up people or start killing people. Is that enough reason to do that? You can't just say just because I believe this, it's true. Because then we're going to be getting...
Everything in your example that you're saying causes harm to mankind. That's why you're saying that if everybody goes and kills and blows up shit, and you're saying that that it's still wrong even though everyone's doing it, the reason you know that it's wrong is because it is harming mankind. So it's still coming back to the same answer.
There are people who are not, let's say, not psychopaths and just hate the world. They literally hate the world. You can't assume everyone's a psychopath because they hate always wanting to die. I mean, it sounds psychopathic, sociopathic.
So are you saying, hold on, I mean, I got to cut you off here because you're kind of going on this long thing and we kind of need you to truncate it down. But what I'm saying is...
How does this come back to God? That's what I want to know.
How do you ground...
I'm not there yet.
Okay. Please, when I'm talking, everybody just please let me talk. And same goes for everybody, just let each other talk. Don't talk over each other. Now, how do you ground your so-called objective morality? How do you get from our so-called subjective morality and nihilistic despair to you having a so-called objective morality? How do you come at us and say, you don't have any grounding for morality, but I do? Okay, well, how is that the case?
Oh, that's what I'm arguing for. There is no ground if you say that. I'm not saying objectively, because I'm going to get to that soon, but I'm talking about if we fall into philosophy, showing how you three have different things, different beliefs, I don't see there's any ground to say, well, that's wrong, that's because someone's dying. Well, then why is him dying wrong? Well, because we're all going to start dying, and then it leads to destructive. Well, who cares if it's destructive? We're all 6 million years from now, we're all going to blow up and die. I could just
wait. Hold on. I know. Okay, you're going to the ultimate futility argument. Well, who cares? I can answer that easily. I care right now. I personally care. I mean, just because. Hold on. Just because. Let me talk, or I'm going to hang up on you. Just because. All right. You know, I know I'm going to die eventually. Doesn't mean, oh, shoot, you know what? I might as well just put a bullet in my brain now. That is not very logical. I'm sure you could think of some way out there scenario where, you know, maybe I was going to live a long, horrible death or, you know, horrible life of pain and shit, maybe then. But that's not what we're talking about here. You're talking about, you're bringing it, you're kind of going all over the place. And one of the places you brought us is to ultimate futility. Well, we don't know ultimately, you know, what's going to happen. You know, we have a pretty good scientific idea of what's going to happen. You know, the sun's eventually going to turn to a giant red sun and engulf us. And if that doesn't get us, then perhaps the galaxy that is, you know, spiraling towards us is going to get us. So yeah,
that's actually first.
Well, yeah. So there's this ultimate sense of futility. But so what? Right now, life matters to me. So I don't understand. What I'm trying to get at is, where do you supposedly get your objective morality? Where do you? I mean, you're coming on the show pointing the finger at us as though you're standing on a different, you know, a different ground than we are. So what I'm asking you is, how is that the case? I'm willing right now to concede, just for the sake of argument, that we have no reason for objective morality. Now what? How do you have a reason for objective morality? How do you ground where do you get your objective morality from if you have such a thing?
I don't think he can hear you, but I can answer that question. What he'll say is that the objective morality is not
true. He went offline.
Morality that's spread by God.
He went offline. The guy went offline. Here's the thing. I can only see two possible directions that there are probably many other possible directions. Hello?
He's back.
Oh, he's back? Chris, are you back?
No, he's gone.
Maybe he's just having some internet problems. Or not.
But anyway, I understand his question. Basically, the thing is, I want to say to Chris, if you're still listening, I can absolutely shatter the fact that you do not believe in absolute morality. You think you do, but you don't. And how I can do that is by asking you, well, do you think genocide is okay? And then, of course, you'll say, absolutely, genocide is not okay no matter what. This absolute morality says genocide's never okay. And then I'll point out to you that God actually ordered the genocide of people, lots of people in the Bible. And then you'll be like, oh, well, if God did it, it's okay. So all of a sudden your absolute morality is no longer absolute. Even you don't believe that horse shit.
Well, I mean, it's all, you know, I mean, we can throw words in his, you know, in his mouth and try to predict what he would say. I want to try not to do that too much, because
it's so fun.
But I know it is. But see, another thing that theists like to argue is they like to say, well, it's objective because it comes from God's nature, and you know, well, everything I do is from my physical nature, and that's not objective. So just because you tack God on there, the title God does not somehow make it magically objective. And then the other thing is you know, they always like to point out that, okay, well, you can't you can't point your finger at God because you don't have a leg to stand on as a naturalist, or they'll usually, you know, say atheist, and confuse it with naturalism. But they don't have a leg to stand on either, because all they ever do, from what I've seen thus far, is appeal to, well, God says, like you said, you know, God says thus and such is righteous, therefore it's righteous. Well, why? Well, because he's God. Are you saying because he's more powerful than anyone? Well, so what? What if there's a divine dictator tomorrow that takes over the world, and he decides what rules will be made and what, you know, what is right and what's wrong? Does that make it right because he has more power? So then all it really is, what it comes down to, folks, is might makes right. And I hate to put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure that is somewhere along the lines of, in the direction of where he was headed.
I kind of got the idea he was going to go the route that that it's absolute morality, because of God is complete absolute. It's not objective. It's the kind of route I thought he was going, but I wish you would call back and let us know for sure.
I like where you were going with it, James, because I was just sitting here thinking, like, man, we don't have to have an answer. What if all of us would have said, I don't know? Show me how this proves that there is a God. You know, I was really waiting for him to answer that question, because a lot of people don't understand, like, you don't have to have an answer to be an atheist. You can just say, I don't know. It does not default to a God. Right.
And Chris, I hope if you listen to this later, maybe in my YouTube channel when I post it, or on iTunes, or however you listen to it, that you will call in, because I would be, you know, interested in hearing the rest of what you have to say. And you know, if you feel that we've misrepresented you, then I apologize. And like I said, you're welcome to call back in, so that we can get the whole story. I don't know if there's something wrong with his Skype or what have you.
I sent him a message. He didn't respond back. I asked him, was he gone for good? Nothing came back. I
will be happy to debate you and 10 of your closest Christian friends anytime you want to in a public space you choose. That's a Dusty Smith promise there, Chris. Just let me know.
So let's talk about the topic that, you know, we had originally decided on, which was you know, the new
atheism.
New atheism. Now, I don't really think there's anything new about atheism. I think atheism is just as much a lack of belief as it always has been. And
yes and no.
I think the only thing different about atheism nowadays is the fact that it's more outspoken, it's more in your face, and it's more blatant about, I don't believe in your fairy tale. Other than that, I really don't think there's really much difference. Other than the fact that,
like, the new atheist movement,
right? I mean, I don't think there's really, you know what I mean, that much difference, because
I understand what you're saying. I think at its core, of course, atheism is just, I don't believe in God. That's what it's always been. That's what it'll always be. But what we have now, thanks to the internet, is we have all these memes that have sprung up around the idea of atheism, and so there's all this new foundational memes supporting atheism, and it is all brand new. It's because of the internet. So you're right that the very basics of what atheism is still the same as it's always been, but there's this new thing that has sprung up on the internet, and so really it's a beautiful thing. The new atheist movement is so glorious in the fact that it's driving us toward the age of reason, and we can't get there fast enough as far as I'm concerned.
And I think it's a generational thing. Like great grandparents would take your grandparents to church every 7 days a week, and grandparents would take your parents to church every Sunday, and your parents rarely took you to church. So it's easier for them to break free than it would be, you know, older atheists. It's very much easier for them. They see it so much clearer than what we did.
Well, they actually have access to the information. You know, the older generations didn't even have access to the information. They had no way to break free. You know, like my entire life, I grew up in Mississippi as a Christian, and I lived from the time that I was born to the time I was 30, never meeting an atheist in my life. No one ever challenged me in my life until I got on the internet and was actually challenged. So for the first time, many of these people get challenged for the first time ever. And that's a life-altering experience when that happens to you.
And I think a lot of people are tired of trying to answer questions that they cannot answer, and they really find incredibly stupid also.
Yeah, the theist responses are so dumb, they're insulting to any intelligent person. And they're so thirsty for answers, and religion just gives none. The only thing that has ever provided answers is the scientific method and logic and reason.
Well, let me just say this as a little clarification. I would agree that there are a lot of dumbass atheist responses. I would definitely agree with that. But there are also some dumbass atheists out there as well, and perhaps fewer.
Yes,
but
fewer.
Then again, there are a lot more theists out there than there are atheists.
True.
But I want to be fair, and I want to say that I don't think that being a theist makes you stupid. I think, we're all human beings. We all have our hang-ups. And I think some of us were fortunate enough to not be indoctrinated so bad to where we're brainwashed, to where we, let's face it, just can't see or hear the other side of the issue.
I think there's certain kind of I don't know what word I want to use. I guess the way you think, it could be harder for some people. Like with me being extremely curious, when I was in the military, any base I went to, I couldn't wait to jump off the plane in this country to eat their most disgusting food possible. I wanted to experience something new. I've always been open-minded. I would first in my neighborhood, I would date outside my race. I would do anything that's different. With a brain like that, if someone says that they have information, I would read it. I'm more open to reading it. And if you got somebody that's opposite, that doesn't make them dumb, but it would be harder for them to break free to even give something new a chance. So I do think it's certain kind of ways that you think that it could be harder for you to break away from Christianity.
And the way I feel about it is that they are dumber in that one respect. When it comes to religion, they're complete idiots. They're morons. They're completely blinded, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They could be great in every other aspect of their life, but when it comes to that one thing, they are idiots.
Well, sure, there's cognitive dissonance, but
Morons.
But come on, we're all filtering.
You don't think that there's certain kind of types, like if somebody is afraid, or like they didn't want to go on the high diving board, or they just have this fear, they just like everything to stay normal in the way it is. Not saying that they're dumb. You don't think that kind of brain, that kind of thought pattern is harder to break away from Christianity than someone that is more curious?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I think that's all part of intelligence. I think wanting to experience new things is part of intelligence. I actually do think atheists on the whole are much more intelligent than theists are. And I think that there's actually been studies that have shown that. There's a reason that the vast majority of scientists are not theists. A very good reason. It's because the more education you get means the smarter you are, and the more education you have, the less likely you are to be religious. So we can be politically correct all day if we want to, and we can say atheists are not smarter than Christians, but we are. As a group, we are. That's the
beautiful thing about that is an atheist. It's okay, and I'm going to get tore up in the comments for this right here, but it is okay for an atheist to be stupid, and it's not okay for someone of religion to be stupid, because you're making a claim. You're telling somebody that they have to believe in this certain thing or something bad will happen to them. You can't be stupid and go around doing that. An atheist could be high as hell. He could be stupid all he wants, and he still doesn't have to believe that there's a God.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I wanted to kind of interject here. People filter things through their presuppositions. We all have presuppositions. We all have worldviews, those basic assumptions that are not tested by natural science. And if you say that you don't have any, I guarantee you don't know what you're talking about. We all have them. If you want to, for instance, if you want to study the human eye, you want to study to see whether it's reliable. You take the human eye, and I've probably said this a million times in other videos, but you take your eye and you look at another eye through a microscope to study that eye. What are you taking for granted? You're taking for granted that you have to already presuppose the reliability of your eye. So we all have basic presuppositions. I think though,
curious, I'm going to think that people who are not curious is going to be harder to come out. I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is we all take certain things for granted. There are some things that we take on, I wouldn't say faith
Don't
in the
say
sense
faith.
that.
Do not say faith, please. Do not say faith in my presence.
But I would say in the sense that there are certain things that we cannot test.
No, you can't test everything, but through our observations, we can decide what is more probably
right.
true than
But let
not.
me finish before you. Let me finish before you get the wrong idea.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we all have presuppositions, but I think some presuppositions are more reasonable than others. I think it's more reasonable to presuppose the reliability of your senses than it is, especially since you could never. How could you ever disprove that? Right? If your brain's in a vat, how would you ever know it wasn't? I think it's more reasonable to presuppose that than it is to presuppose that, hey, I got this holy book and it's the word of God and that's it. I'm just starting with that presupposition. I think obviously that's a
insane,
really big mistake. Yeah, and I argued a lot of presuppositional apologetics, so I kind of know this subject pretty well. And I've actually heard Christians, my fellow open-air preachers at the time, we would argue stuff like, so, you doubt the Bible? Oh, well, they would throw science at us. Some atheist, some angry humanist or something would throw science at us. Well, how do you know that's true? Well, I read it in this textbook. Oh, well, we read it in our book, and so we would, create like this, somehow try to make the Bible the same thing as a textbook when, it's not. It's not peer-reviewed. It's not, it was written by, sheep herders and shit. Like, what I'm saying? It's like, come on. You read Job, and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, let me see. God acts like a human being. He plays, wagers with Job's, Job's life with Satan. You look in Genesis and God repents and, where are you? He's supposed to be all knowing, but he's looking for Adam and Eve. Like you see these different theologies throughout the Bible. And if you just look at it, you realize that if you look at it without those Christian lenses on, it's so plainly obvious that this was written by people who were just trying to figure out, why we're here. And this was basically their attempt at philosophy.
Right. They were primitive monkeys. They were just primitive desert-dwelling monkeys who knew what the hell they were talking about. And they just wrote whatever they thought made sense of them, but they were just ridiculous monkeys. There's no reason that any rational, reasonable person should ever read any of this and find any truth in it whatsoever. The fact that we're still talking about this horse shit in 2012 just makes my head want to explode.
Well, I think there's something I said in a recent video, that is that there's something I've learned, that is, there are two kinds of people on this planet, just two. Those are the realists who are concerned about what truth actually is, and those are the people who just, they want to believe whatever makes them feel comfortable. The people who appeal to consequence, and
hey, Chris is saying he can't hear. There's a problem with the call, so I think he wants back in.
Yeah, he's been off this whole time. I'm gonna try to.
Hey, before he comes back on, because I know this is recorded, I got to put this out there. Does anybody else think Chris sounds like the son of Breaking Bad? Like, I just think of the show Breaking Bad like we're talking to the son. You seen that show, Dusty?
Yeah, I saw that show. That's a great show, man. One of my favorites.
I just want to put that out there. He sounds just like that kid.
Yeah, I can totally hear it. Let's bring it back. Let's throw it back to the lines again.
I'm going to try to bring him back in, man. Just hold your horses.
We love you, Chris. Don't get the wrong goddamn buddy. We were once where you are. Especially me. I used to be a Christian, so I had no ill will towards you whatsoever, man.
He's actually nicer than I thought he was going to have. Some like older, like, you motherfuckers are gonna die. That kind of Christian.
I'm gonna come punch you one for Jesus.
Yeah. Actually, the comment I got today.
All right, I'm trying to add this guy in. How did I do it before?
Did the last person have to call? Well, you guys called me last.
No, I think I.
Chris went and called his priest and came.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Chris, say this.
I hear Chris.
I hear him.
Sorry, my computer logged off. Sorry, I'm back.
No problem, man.
Oh, you're back. All right, man. We thought you got butthurt and took off because I threatened to
No,
hang up on you.
I'm here.
Okay, well, as long as you're here.
Organize this a little better because it's kind of like everyone's just talking over each other, so then I have to try to yell over them, and then it gets like I can't keep my train of thought. We got to kind of do this in like a
Hey,
line.
no problem. You actually missed out on a good conversation. We were talking about how theists are less evolved primates and how they're less intelligent, and that's why they believe what they believe.
Here's the question, Chris.
We're just kidding, Chris.
I don't know if I agree.
We're just playing, Chris. I'm just playing, Chris. We're not
that
really
sounds
saying.
harsh because I was a Christian years ago.
We just playing, bro.
The question we had, though, was we wanted to know if you believe that there's absolute morality because of God, or you believe there's objective morality because of God.
I phrase that so like put that in a way so that I don't like get misquoted. I want to make sure I get that correctly.
Do you believe that there's? Do you believe there's absolute morality? Do you think because of God there are certain things that are absolutely morally good and some things that are absolutely morally bad? Because of God, they're absolute, or do you believe that it's just objective?
When that's basically, I believe the same thing, or independent of personal thought is true. Yes, I believe that if the God, there's going to be absolute. What he says is absolute true.
Okay, but why? How do you ground that? I mean, I don't understand how you get from one being says thus and such is true, therefore, or thus and such is objective, therefore it is. I mean, how do you? I don't understand. Just because his name is God, somehow it becomes objective suddenly. I don't understand that. Maybe you can clarify.
Chris, what would you do if somebody punched you in the face?
Right. See, that's what I'm talking about. How am I supposed to answer the question when there's two different questions coming?
Okay, go ahead, but just go back and answer mine when you get finished with theirs.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the question was, how do I know that? Okay. Well, let's look at the attributes of God. Perfectly moral, all-knowing, omnipresent. I think with those things, first of all, let's look at it. Morally perfect. If he was good from him.
Wait, how do you know it's good?
He's a nature. I hate to use that nature argument because I've heard you say it before. I don't want to use it by like saying, oh, because we're by nature is true. But what I'm saying is,
how do you know it's good?
How do I know it's good?
Yeah.
Because God. Or I don't want to use circular reasoning.
That's called begging the question.
No, I got a question.
Okay.
I want to turn that around, and I will answer it back. I will answer it, so I'm not evading it. I will answer the question.
But hold on. Hold on. I just want to ask you something. I just want to ask you something real quick, just to clarify. So you're not saying, and this actually is a question. You're not saying that just. Can you turn your mic down a little bit there? Yeah, mute your mic so I'm not echoing. Okay, so you're not saying that just because being A has this attribute, which you call moral, you're not saying that somehow makes that objective because it comes from this being. I don't even know if I said it right.
He believes in absolute morals. He does not believe in objective morals.
Yeah, he believes in absolute.
What I'm saying is there are morals that are absolute. I'm not saying like if I go up to someone goes up to me and he hits me and I just hit back. I'm not saying that's all.
But I got a point with that though. I'm seriously asking you, what would your choice be if someone hit you in the face? I'm not being mean or anything. I really want to know what you do.
What are we trying to get from it? Are you trying to say, would I kill him or?
No, I want to know what you do. Would you hit him back or would you just leave him alone and let him be? Or what would you do if somebody hit you in the face?
I'd probably report him to the police and get him arrested.
Okay, so God said in your book, turn the other cheek, and he also says eye for an eye. He gave you two separate options, and you have to make your own choice, but based on your morality that obviously didn't come from God since he gave you two opposite choices. So you didn't get your morality from God. You got it from yourself, from your surroundings, from your community.
Wait, say that again, from the community?
If he gives you two separate options that are totally opposite, and you have to use your own brain and make your own decision, then doesn't that prove that he does not give you your morality, that you're getting your morality from somewhere else?
No, that's not how it works. You're saying that because he said eye for an eye, and then he said...
turn the other cheek.
and turn the other cheek.
Yeah, you can knock somebody back out. You can call the cops. You can let them be. You got to make your own decision. God is not helping you with the decision. He don't care what you choose. So how do you get your morality from God if He doesn't care which choice you choose?
He does care what you choose.
Obviously, no, he doesn't. That's a small example. There are plenty of places in the Bibles where killing is fine, genocide is fine. There's plenty of places where...
That's misquoted because you have to know the context of what's going on exactly. And I don't think we can get in that.
Wait.
You know the context of the genocide, dudes. You don't understand. The murder was completely justified, okay? All the child sacrifice was completely justified. You just don't understand the context.
Did you know the background story of how the Canaanites
Bitch, I know that shit better than you do. I promise you. Okay.
Hey, come on now.
What's going on here, really?
Come on. Hey, come on. Calm down. All right. Do you know that? Can you mute your mic again, dude? All right. Do you know the context of 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3? That's my question to you.
Not by heart.
Not by heart? So do you have a problem with God ordering the death of helpless infants? And do you have a problem with Him ordering the death of any woman who slept with a man but keep the virgins for yourself? Is that cool with you?
Oh, I know that quote. That's grossly misquoted. You have to know the context of the background, what it meant.
I do know.
It wasn't just
No, I do know. That's what you don't understand. I do know. I used to preach this stuff from a stool. I used to get atheists quoting the same verses.
Just because you preach it does not mean you preach it correctly.
Listen to what I'm saying. I used to preach this from a stool. I used to have atheists come and throw this verse at me in my face. Okay? I know the context from both sides. I know how the atheists see it, and I know how Christians paint it. Many different Christians. I've had one Christian in particular tell me on YouTube that, oh, you don't understand. You see, the babies, the infants, were part Nephilimite. They were part demon. So that's why God killed them. That's why God ordered the deaths of those. Even though that word means giant, doesn't mean demon. So... what do you mean I don't know the context? Christians don't even know the context. There's like 20 different ways to try to explain away that verse. Which one's right? Most people can quote Isaiah 7:14. Do they know the context of Isaiah 7:14? Do they realize that and she has conceived? The young woman has conceived. Perfect tense. Having already happened, but how do the Christian translators translate it? She will. They translate it into the future. So don't tell me I don't know the Bible. I translate this stuff. I don't know Hebrew, but I know Greek pretty well. I know
James, could I say something?
Yeah.
A lot of times it gets complex, or Christians try to escape the moment. So I would like to say, Chris, he asked you, did you know the verse? And you said no. And he told you that he used to preach it. And your logical decision, I guess, was that he didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, does that seem right to you? Just that little moment.
Don't you think you should have heard me out first before you made such a judgment?
It's like one guy asks a question, then it goes to the next guy, then it goes back to the other guy. Talking.
You're right. Go ahead.
We're still on subject. This is the same subject right here. We haven't gone anywhere. I'm making sure we stay right here. I don't want you to go anywhere. I want you to stay right here because most Christians try to run from this. Now,
just let him finish, though. Let him finish. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, talk now. Okay. Hopefully everything's good now because I don't want John jumping on me.
No, nobody's gonna jump on you, man.
I'm not like that.
That was me.
Anyway. Let's focus on what's on hand. Anyway, that's the rule. Okay, let's get the question again. I'm confused because John isn't talking. I cannot listen when it goes James to John. Let's go, James. Tell me what your question was.
My question is do you think it's moral for God to order the death of helpless infants for any reason? That's my question.
the death of children.
Yeah.
In which way? In just they're dying instantly, or what way?
It don't matter. It don't matter. He orders their death. Period.
I got a question. By you saying not matter, does that mean every death is just horrible? Like if someone is dying from old age is just completely equal to just killing a child and stabbing him to death, or?
I said infants. I don't know what old age has to do with infants.
No. I'm saying this. He's saying there's no. John was saying there's no difference between dying from, instantly from not being stabbed to death, or just maybe just.
But we're not talking about John right now.
Say that.
Hold on. You just griped at us for like 3 minutes solid. Now you're doing it. So just answer the question. Do you think that it is moral for any being, whether his name be God or Mother Teresa, to order the death of infants, helpless infants?
It wasn't on the infants. It was on the...
Why are you trying to run from this? It's a pretty simple question.
It wasn't directly on the children. They not tell the people to go kill the children. Exactly.
No, actually that is. You want me to read it to you?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, he's going to make me break out my Bible. All right. I guess it had to happen sometime. Okay.
I would just like to say that I think it's awful and completely morally inept for anybody to say that genocide is good for any reason. I don't care what being ordered it to happen. I think as a decent, moral human being, anybody should be able to see that it's incredibly wrong. And if you're unable to do so, there's obviously a very big flaw in your moral character.
I agree.
No response?
Oh, you want me to respond to that? Again, we're going back to just because you think that and he agrees, we have to find out what is good, is bad, Because just because you say, well, I don't like people dying, that doesn't make it automatically true. You have a circular reason. Just because you say something's bad is because I don't like it, it doesn't mean it's bad.
Okay, to me, good and bad is desirable and undesirable. You got to mute your microphone, dude, when I'm talking.
Okay.
Good and bad, to me, is not mean good and evil. Okay, there's not a force called good. There's not a force called evil. We're talking about good and bad is desirable and undesirable, and it's opinion based on the person. And in my opinion, what I consider to be good and what I consider to be bad is what I consider to be desirable and undesirable.
Okay, we're here.
And I think genocide for any reason is undesirable, and I think any moral person should feel the same way.
All right, I'm back. All right, so here we go. How far back do you want me to read? How much context do you need for you to say, oh, you're not taking that out of context?
By context, I mean looking at the background story of the actual people, what was going on at exactly the same time, like what was the history of the people.
Well, okay, well, what's going on? I don't see why I should have to explain that to someone who claims that they believe in the God who wrote this book, who claims to be a follower of a being who wrote this book. I think you would already know. And Samuel said to Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people Israel. Now therefore listen to the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts. Notice it says, thus says the Lord of hosts. This is supposedly God speaking here. I have noted what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way when they came up out of Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. Now my question is, okay, whatever Amalek did, why do these helpless infants have to pay for his crime, whatever that supposedly is, in opposing? Why do these infants have to pay for the crime of adult human beings? Why do these donkeys have to pay for the crimes of these adult human beings? As far as I'm concerned, the infants and the donkeys are innocent bystanders. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall anything in this book in the Tanakh here say anything about any infants doing anything wrong. So my question to you was it right for this character here to order the death of infants? That's my question.
Okay. Well, okay. The question is it wrong to, and what happened at the current time and place to kill the infants? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm asking you about this particular situation.
Okay. Now, let's look at this in a way. Okay. Now,
are you going to ever answer the question, or are we going to spend?
Yes, I'm answering right now. I was just explaining. You just keep on interrupting me. That's not how.
Okay, well, just go ahead then.
Okay. Now let me explain. Looking at that, if you were to kill all the parents and all the Israelites, you're just going to leave the child behind and starve to death?
Wait. Okay, can I interject now, or are you finished?
Okay, you can say what you want to say.
Okay. So let me get this straight. So, out of compassion, and this is a question, not a statement. Out of compassion, he orders the deaths because an all-powerful being couldn't somehow make it so that the babies wouldn't have to die, or that they grant the Israelites somehow the ability to take care of these babies. Is that really your assertion here? Seriously.
The Israelites? Obviously, let's look at, you just said that they're going after the Israelites because God was against them. Why would he help the Israelites after the thing? He's against them. That doesn't make sense. So we can't say that he could have just given them the ability to take care of babies because they're, dead already? Or he commanded?
I don't think you understood the question. I said the Israelites. God commanded the Israelites to slaughter these Amalekite infants. You said, correct me if I'm wrong, you said that, well, what are they just supposed to take care of all these babies? How are they going to...
That's not what I said. No, I said what I said was this. I said how the Israelites going to take care of the babies if they're going to kill them. You said something about them protecting, why can't God give them the ability to let them protect the children when they were the Israelites? It would give them the power to take care of them. Unless I misquoted you.
My question was...
This guy's totally fucking fine with God wiping off
innocent
kids just because he can't make up, he's all powerful, and he can't make up a reason that these babies can live. I'm glad it's all fucking fiction, but this is why I make YouTube videos, this is why I make music, this is why I make songs. This guy would twist and turn any fucking thing he can find in his fucking mind to make that shit sounds logical to him in his brain. Go on living his life, and because of this, he thinks that it's okay in a certain situation to kill innocent fucking kids. And
okay, now
I think you need to calm down.
Hold on, man. Calm down. Apologize for that, Chris, but this is a heated topic.
Why you apologizing to Chris? He have problems with fucking killing babies and shit.
Because I understand that, but getting in emotion like that is not going to help. It's not going to reach Chris.
It really should make you angry.
It is, because I don't give a fuck about Chris.
It does make me angry, but it doesn't make me angry to the point to where I can't continue the discussion in some profitable direction. I'm trying to help Chris see something here.
What he needs to know is he needs to know that there are people out there who will stand up to it.
I want the people that's listening to this show, that's going to hear this show, to continue their fight, to be proud to be a fucking atheist and not think like this. I'm no longer concerned with Chris, because if he can twist his brain to believe that there's a situation where you can wipe off a whole fucking race of fucking babies for no reason and Chris is gone.
Okay, well, here's the thing though, okay? I get you there. I feel you, and... this isn't the first time I brought up this verse and tried to get, theists to, acknowledge it and deal with it honestly, without any cognitive dissonance. And like I said, I've received a million different ways of, trying to apologize for this verse. But Chris, surely you must understand where John's coming from. Surely you must see how it must look to us. That it seems to me that the fact that you can't just say damn straight, killing infants is fucked up. Like, let's put it this way, Chris. If I were to change the name from Thus Says the Lord to Thus Says Hitler, would you not have a different perspective on this?
Okay, response? Okay. You said if it was Hitler and if it was a God. Now, let's look at... I want to go back to what John was getting so angry about, was that I don't know how they dealt with... I don't know if they gave a graphic detail of what they actually did to the baby. They just said they killed them, or to go kill them, or something. And I have to see... I want to see the actual... I gotta see the actual verse before I make any of these agreements, or that something happened, something didn't happen.
You're making an agreement to believe in this book, and you don't even know the verse. Do you hear how that sounds? You made an agreement to live your life by this book, and you don't even know what the verse is, Chris.
I said I'm going to go look at the verse.
That's what we're saying. You have decided to believe a religion that you have not even researched. You don't even know what your own religion says, yet you have agreed to worship this religion for the rest of your life. Don't you see how stupid that is?
There's no way I can memorize it just on top of my head. That's one thing. There's no way I can
can read it. You can read it, and you can remember the main parts of the Bible.
Okay.
Says. If you really want to be a good Christian, that's what you do.
Okay, he does have a point here. I mean, you're supposed to be prepared to have an answer for anyone, about the hope that is within you. I mean, you're supposed to be, equipped to do apologetics, to give a reasonable answer, a logical. Actually, the word there is apologeion. Apo, offer, from, logeion, to speak. So, I mean, I would think that this would be one of those verses that you would bookmark, have at least some general understanding of. You seem, correct me if I'm wrong, other people in this room, but it almost seems like he's never heard this verse before. And, okay. Well, then I don't understand why. I mean, me as a Christian, when I first heard about this verse, because there was a time when I was a new Christian, I'd never heard this verse before, and some angry atheist, brought it up to me when I was preaching the gospel, and I was awestruck. I went home, I studied it for hours, trying to figure out, well, this, well, there must be some way, some reason why a all-good, powerful being would, order something like this. But at the end of the day, no, there isn't. But you're going to have to see that for yourself. And I hope that, obviously we're not going to deconvert anybody, but what I'm saying, I hope you actually go home and read this. I just
want to say that the problem is I was not prepared for that verse to be brought up. It's just, I brought it up, so I'm going off of what I know and what I priorly remember. You can't just expect someone to just automatically know something in all the context and just right on the spot when they didn't see the question coming.
Well, you sure knew enough to tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about.
No, what exactly did I say? I'm not going to say I didn't. What exactly did I say?
You said I didn't. I don't know how to. Do you guys remember what the hell he said to me?
Hey, Chris, could I say something calmly to you, man? Like when you're on a search for truth, I'm always on a search for truth. I don't come prepared. Come prepared sounds like a defense. It means that you have this stance and you want to hold it up. If you have a stance that you just want to hold up and you're not open for truth, then you can never know for certain if you're right. I didn't come here prepared for anything, and I'm always open. I don't believe in God because I don't have proof of his existence. But if some proof does show itself, and I'm not going to sit here and hold off and try to find quotes that I can use to fight off God. I will fucking believe in God. You should always remain free, and you should always remain open. You shouldn't have to come prepared. You shouldn't have to put up a defense to take up for. You shouldn't have to search for reasons to find out why would God kill these innocent babies.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't decide the truth ahead of time and then to decide to defend that. What you should do is,
you don't know the book.
You should say, what is true? Let's find out and go from there.
I'm going to go home after this. And I'm going to look it up. Now, if you happen to be right, then I guess you're right. But if it happens to be wrong, then you're wrong. I'm going to look it up first. I'm not going to just come on here from something I can't memorize by heart. I don't have right in front of me. And I don't know the context. I got to look in the context, historical sense. I got to look back then, and then I got to see how. Sure.
I understand that you're going to
have everything organized. I'm not just going to go and say, "Oh God, he's right because he quotes it." I got to look in the context of it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know where all this agreeing.
So okay, but so
just trying. What is the context? What exactly happened?
But I still don't understand how in any context you could argue that killing infants that don't have some sort of like Ebola plague that they're going to like spread to everyone, especially by an omnipotent, all-powerful being, like, I don't understand how you would even need context to automatically look at this and go, yeah, that's jacked up. Because first off, this God could have created any world he wanted to, right? He's all-powerful. He could have created any world he wanted to without all of the stuff we have going on. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's his fault we're in this problem for the, from the get-go. It's his fault. Well, think about it. If you have,
how is it fault of other people's actions?
Well, okay. Well, let me. I'll answer that. Could God have created a world in which people would have made choices, the right choices, quote unquote, good choices? Could he create a world in which they would have made the right choices and yet still had free will? Because I know you're an Arminian and that's what you're going to argue. So I'm thinking ahead of you. Could he have done that? Could he have done that? It's a simple question. Did he have the power to do that?
That's logically absurd. No, you cannot be free yet always doing the true. You have to have the ability to do wrong. That's logically absurd to say that you're free will, but you're forced. But you always do the right choices. That's not.
Oh, okay. Well then, God being all good is logically absurd because he has free will, doesn't he? But yet he somehow always chooses good. Huh. So I think you refuted your own position.
I don't. When did I say he has free will?
You just. Oh, he doesn't have free will? So he's a robot? He can't choose? He can't make choices?
He can't forgive unless he kills his own son or himself.
See, either way, you screw up your whole argument.
Oh, it's morally perfect. That free will would not be associated with morally perfect.
Oh, okay. So could he have created a world in which none of this would have happened and people would have been morally perfect?
He does not have free will. What part do you know that? He does not have free will.
He doesn't?
He's perfect. By that, he always will choose the right thing.
So basically, I'm more powerful than God because I have free will and God doesn't. So am I God?
No, that's not how it works. What he's saying, the reason why he gives people free will is so they can willingly, or this, not join God, or go with him. That way it's actually a real love, not we're just automatron just walking around and saying, I love God, I love God. We actually have the ability to go out and learn about God and accept him or not.
Hey, Chris, the first wrongdoing was when Eve bit the fruit, right? Was that the first wrongdoing of mankind?
What?
Was that the first time that mankind did wrong, when Eve bit the fruit? Like, that started everything, right? It totally messed us all up. I'm asking, was there a sin before did man sin before he bit the fruit?
The man sinned before he bit the fruit?
Yes.
The man sinned before he bit the fruit.
Yes, sin. It comes from we got once once Eve bit the fruit, that's when man made his first sin, right? What I'm getting at is
because there's some people that see that like a literary device about, because that gets into complications because there's some people who don't believe that's how it started first. It could have been that's how story, just for people to understand how evolution kind of works. It's a deep thing because it's something that it's a whole different debate on. I had to get into this.
Okay, here, let me shorten the question for you. Do you believe in the doctrine of original sin?
Well, at this current moment, I would say yes. At the current moment, yes, yes. But it could change because there's people that say it could be like a literary device, how a story for explaining.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you believe? I'm really interested in this. Why do you believe that the Bible is true?
Why I believe it is true?
Yeah.
Because Jesus, the history, the historical, and I think that's a really good case. Objective morals, the cosmological argument. I think
the cosmological argument, the first cause.
well, no, everything that begins to exist has a cause, and I think the other three contentions.
Okay, so I asked you why you believe the Bible is true. I mean, the cosmological argument. Hold on. Even if let's say that argument was valid, that the cosmological, argument was valid, that doesn't prove the Christian God. That's an argument for a deity of some sort, for deism. But that's not an argument for your specific flavor of God. That could be for Muslim God, for all we know. What makes you believe that the Bible is the Word of God, especially enough to try to apologize for wicked little writings like 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3? What causes you to believe this?
Oh, okay. Okay. The resurrection of Jesus, the historical.
So
what are you looking for? I don't get what you're looking for. Like
I'm not looking for anything. I'm looking. I'm asking you personally. Why do you really believe what you believe? What reason? What logical reason?
I just said the resurrection of Jesus. Then you can, for the purpose of finding a deity, you use the
okay, so you have some old manuscripts which you don't have originals of, and somehow that is enough evidence to you to believe an extraordinary claim like somebody rose from the dead. I don't get that. How does that work?
You do realize there are scholars who know how to sort everything out and determine what's real and what's not real, right?
No, I wasn't this past summer on Dr. James White's show, who's on the board of the NASB. No, I wouldn't know anything about this stuff. No, I'm not an expert on textual criticism, but I do know probably a little bit more than the average Christian out there.
What does that mean? I mean, if I was to refer to a scholar who actually has a
what I'm saying is that even if you could prove that, let's say, even if you could prove that a lot of people like to throw out, well, the Bible has more supporting manuscripts than, if you doubt the New Testament, then you got to doubt that, Julius Caesar ever, or Buddha ever existed or whatever. But here's the problem. The problem is that I don't care how many manuscripts you stack up or how much reliability you prop the New Testament up with. It's still not enough to believe claims like Jesus walking on water, the resurrection. First of all, let's go to the resurrection since you brought that up. To believe in the resurrection, you have to believe in the God of the Bible in the first place. So don't tell me that the New Testament is the Word of God and you know that because of the resurrection. You can't use that. You know why? Because anastasis, which is the word that's translated resurrection, is in the passive, which means that the resurrection was being performed on Jesus, Jesu Christu. Therefore, you have to first presuppose that God exists in order to believe this mumbo-jumbo about the resurrection. So don't come...
I'm going to say this right now. That sounds all fine, but I think I'm going to look up the scholar thing before I start taking your word for it.
Oh, don't take my word. I'm just some idiot on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to take the scholar, like the professional ones, so I can get the story. I'm not saying you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying I would rather take the scholars, the ones who, and historians.
Okay, so if I had
I'm just saying, though, that I think I'm going to look up that before I start.
Well, hold on.
I might see something differently.
Hold on.
Get something.
I understand where you're going with this. You're right now. You're basically appealing to authority. Well, I'm going to go. Let me ask you. No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that every scholar on the planet said that the Spider-Man comic really happened. Okay. Would you believe them just because there's more manuscripts supporting the ancient Spider-Man comic that we found? Is that extraordinary evidence?
That's just absurd.
Hold on. Okay, if I said,
like I said,
I'm going to hang up on you if you don't let me finish. It's just that simple. I don't want to do it, but if you keep talking over it, I'm going to hit the red button. What I'm saying is, okay, is that let's say you have a story that says Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. You have another story that says Columbus parted the ocean blue in 1492. Which one are you more likely to believe? That Columbus sailed the ocean blue, which people do all the time and have been doing for hundreds of years, or Columbus parted the ocean blue? Which one are you going to believe? My point is that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Can I finish? Can I go? I mean,
sure.
Okay. Like I said, I think you are trying to just discredit scholars or historians. I think that's what you're going with here, because you're saying just because this, but in all actuality, it don't work like that.
Wait, are you telling me you have scholars and historians that say that Jesus rose from the dead because of manuscript support? I can't think of one scholar who would argue that.
Look, I'm going to see the proof, the scholar proof. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, not saying you're right. I'm saying I'm going to look up the scholars.
Well, I hope,
and then I'm going to get my conclusion from that. I don't see what the problem is.
I hope that you will. Hold on.
You start looking out for the scholars. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to look at after this show, look up the scholars. I think that's pretty logical. I don't think there's any problem with that. I don't think there's nothing incoherent about not just taking someone's word and going to actually see them and see what their commentary on it was, what they thought, and the proof behind it. I'm not just going to take some guy who just pulls out.
I agree with you, Chris. I agree
with you too, but here's the problem with that. You've already decided to believe in Christianity before you've gone and researched this stuff, so you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, yet you believe in it all.
That's what I was just about to say.
Ridiculous.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, no, I'm trying to get for his claims he's making. The one.
Okay, so then are you willing to admit that you could be wrong about your belief in God and Christianity and the Bible and all that stuff? Are you willing to admit that there could be some measure of possibility that you could be wrong?
What? I didn't hear you start. Say it again.
Are you willing to admit that there is some possibility that you could be wrong about the God of the Bible and his existence and the Bible being reliable, and the Kalam cosmological argument? Are you willing to admit that you could be wrong by some degree of possibility?
It's possible. I will say, I'm not going to say nothing's impossible. It's possible.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Hey, I like to say this. If I think about Chris, the person, I say that he's incredibly brave, because I'm sitting here quiet now thinking, like, would I have been on this show this long, talking to 3 atheists, and I didn't know my stuff really, really good. The thing is, it's just that, it's a bigger cause than Chris. Chris is a nice guy, stood on the line and everything, but there are a lot of nice, innocent people getting tortured, burnt alive, and a lot of other terrible things because of this Bible. And it makes people believe in things such as Chris, as he tried to twist it with the killing of the innocent babies.
You can say that about anything. There's people who die because of...
religion has killed more people than anything in the history of the world.
What? Second?
Religion has killed more people than anything in the history of the world.
I agree, because that is North Korea. I got them.
What about North Korea? I lived in Korea for a year.
North Korea is a religion. They worship Kim Jong-il, and now his son, now that he's passed away. It is a religion. They say, they bow to him. They say, they have pictures all over their walls.
The house.
Yeah, I mean, it is a religion. What are you talking about?
And then we have, not only that, we have Soviet Russia. We have Mao Zedong, which was strictly atheist, got rid of all religions and just was under his sea.
So you're saying that whatever this guy is you just named, he murdered more people than religion and anything in the history of mankind?
Have you seen the death toll?
No, I'm asking you. I don't know anything about him. I love reading, learning everything, so I'll go look him up.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm asking you, is that what you're saying right now? You're saying that he's killed more people than anything in the history of mankind?
Not separately, but I think altogether. I believe when I looked up.
Well, I don't mean to cut this short, guys, but I I mean, I got to end your call, and I want to thank you though, Chris, for calling in, for having the courage. I'm sorry if maybe the call didn't turn out exactly as maybe you'd hoped it would, or I don't know, maybe I'm just being negative about my outlook on it. But I mean, it is a very touchy issue, morality, and when you talk about, you know, death of infants and things like that, it is a very touchy issue, and a lot of people, myself and, you know, my two guests on the show today, have been hurt by religion. And so we are, you know, upset about it, and those feelings are going to come out, especially in an issue like this. But I don't want you to take it personally, and I appreciate.
I think John's a nice person. I think Dusty's a nice person in heart. I think you guys are all nice persons in heart. So I hope I didn't make you guys think I'm a horrible person or I'm out to.
No, it's not you, Chris. It's not your fault. There's many people that feel the same way you feel. It's not you at all. That was towards that little book that has you all under its spell.
Anyway, like I said, I will maybe a little episodes later, or maybe just commenting. That's what you like to do. I'll look everything up and I'll inform you.
Sure, and hey, and
I think that's okay. I don't think that's okay.
Sure, and let me. Just, I'm going to tell you this and then just hit the red button. But go check out Lawrence Krauss's video called, and it's on YouTube, it's called A Universe from Nothing. And he's going to be a future guest. But check out that video. I think that might address some of your cosmological issues. So anyways, peace out, man.
Hey, did he say Guinness Cone at the end? That's what he was saying?
Huh?
With the atheist guy, was he talking about Guinness Cone?
What?
He said some atheist guy killed a lot of people. I didn't know the guy. I was trying to remember the guy's name.
Tessoon.
Okay.
I think Mao Tessoon.
Okay.
So I'm a little new at this. Can you hang up?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
Good time. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Later, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Well,
this is the problem I have with you know, you have people that are friends on your Facebook that are extremely nice Christians. They don't bother anybody, and you can just see it in their face that they don't want to believe in all the bad stuff of the Bible. Right. And you don't want to say these posts on your Facebook that's going to crush Christianity because you're going to hurt their feelings. But there's so many more evil things that the book does that, you know, you have to say, fuck it, I'm going to put this on my Facebook page. That's how I feel coming at Chris. Like, I don't want to come at Chris like that, but it's so many people that's going to be listening to this and watching this that I want to get my message across to, and I want them to see what this book does.
You know what though? And Dusty, I hope you caught on this too. You notice how he said we're good people, but yet he believes we deserve to go to hell if he believes the Bible. So
that dude doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't done any research.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Christians.
But that could harm us. They're gonna think we gained up on some little naive Christian guy. I didn't know the call.
I know. I feel bad. Hey, and if anybody's watching this later, I don't like to try to bully on Christians. I hope nobody got that from this episode. It's totally not. I want people to feel comfortable to call in. But I hope you would understand, you know, if you're a Christian listening to this, you know, podcast, this is a very touchy issue when you're talking about, you know, killing infants.
Right, and the fact that it's still happening today, they're still burning witches today, they're still killing gays today, this shit is still going on. There's a reason to be angry about it.
Right.
You know, our anger is justified.
Right.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
But to make it a little bit cheery, you know, I don't know how you're gonna edit this up, but you know.
Oh, I'm not. I don't edit. I don't really edit any. I just add in some intro and, you know, I might, if there's a pause in there with nobody's talking for a while, I might edit that out. But I don't edit anything anybody says.
Oh no, I was just saying like for time length, you know, I want to switch over to like the video if we could.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get there. But you kept talking to him, so
I'm sorry.
The greatest video in the history of atheism. Cheers, you're an atheist. John Rhimes should have seen this man in the studio. Laid it down in 3 tracks.
Yeah,
it's an amazing thing to watch.
Thanks, Dusty, man. You did your thing too as well, especially in video. A lot of people love the moves.
So, for those of you who don't know, actually, John Rhines here is quite a little rapper, and he actually last episode I played in the outro, I played his song "Cheers, You're an Atheist." So y'all check out the video on YouTube on the Religious Snitch channel and on Cult of Dusty channel, right? Correct?
Yes.
And they did an official video for it recently. Tell them a little bit about that video.
Well, we wanted to make a song for the new atheist out there. So John came to me with this really great idea. He kind of made a pre-video, the Cheers, You're an Atheist video. And I loved it. So immediately I wanted to attach myself to this project and get it out there to all the new atheists. So I went down to Macon, Georgia. We recorded the song in the studio and filmed the video for it. And it's currently released on my YouTube channel, the Cult of Dusty, and also the Religious Snitch channel.
Yes, we had fun making the video. We tried to do it like a buddy style. Kanye, Jay-Z had a lot of fun with it, make it really humorous. I laugh every time I see the interpretation of God and Abraham on the top of the mountain. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's what got me.
You made a great Abraham. You pulled it off.
Thanks, man.
Where was the girl in the background coming from? Was that on Chris's end?
Girl in the background.
Yeah, that was on.
Oh, okay.
End.
Sorry, I know I
sister or something.
I'm ADD. I just kind of jump all over the place.
Oh, okay, yeah. He had a little helper with him, and it looks like she was more fiery than he was. I thought he was saying in the video at first, but I felt like I didn't see any atheist song. I haven't been an atheist that long, but I haven't seen any songs that dealt with what the emotions you go through as soon as you say, "Holy shit, I'm an atheist." Like, it finally hits you. And I remember some concerns. I remember when I first became an atheist, I was just like, please, please, please let something just pop in my head so I can believe in God again. And I remember all the things that I went through, and I'm like, I know it could be shaky. So I wanted to instill confidence in that person that is coming to the logical conclusion that there is no such good reason to believe in any religion or God. So I made the song "Cheers, You're an Atheist."
And I felt the same way. I can remember very clearly the butterflies in my stomach when I was deciding to become an atheist, going from Christianity. I didn't actually go immediately from Christianity to atheism, but I can remember the journey and that path and the butterflies and the fear that you go through. And if you're strong enough to make it through that and make it to the other side, then you should know that there are other people out there who have been through that. We got your back. We know what you've been through. And, you should be proud of yourself. You're an atheist. You've done a major accomplishment. And you really should be proud of yourself.
So tell us just a little bit about, I gotta close this episode here soon, but tell us just a little bit about your guys' videos. Starting with you, Dusty, since you haven't talked that much.
I haven't talked that much, really? Oh,
I think you got cut off.
My name is Dusty Smith, and I am the cult leader at the Cult of Dusty. I've been on YouTube for about 3 years now, and I've got quite a little nice following going. Now my cult is up to like 22,000 members now. And I make anti-atheist videos. I'm the atheist sledgehammer. I really go to town destroying religion every way I can because I believe religion is the most harmful thing on the planet today and needs to be eradicated immediately, if not sooner. So that's basically what I spend most of my free time on. John, how about you?
Yes, it's weird because I had a normal page, a little rap page, and I became an atheist. I made an atheist page so it wouldn't affect my personal life. Then I said, fuck that, and started using my name, John Rhines, on my TheReligiousSnitch channel, which sucks because people go on there and they call me, yo, what's up, Snitch? I really hate that. But I didn't have that many followers, like 100 maybe, and I did this video, and I got lots and lots of followers immediately. And most of that success comes from the promotion with Dusty. One of the first videos I saw besides the Atheist Experience was the Cult of Dusty videos. And I think what you guys are going to find is that he's more, it's the opposite of what you're going to hear in this podcast. I'm more laid back and calm, and Dusty is more in your face with it.
I would say he's a little more polemic than you are.
Yes, I'm more reasonable than I am on this show because I really like to get along with people, and to try to talk to them. So
right. Well, I think there's a time and place for both, and it takes wisdom to understand when those times are, and there is a time to be upset, and I think there's even a place for ridicule at times, as long as you're not using that in place of a logical argument. But there is to kind of get people to kind of look at their position and go, oh wow, maybe there is a reason why he's ridiculing me. Maybe my position is really that silly. So I think there's a time and place for both. And you're both, from what I can tell, I've watched some of Dusty's videos. You're both pretty intelligent, effective,
pretty intelligent, quote unquote,
effective atheist communicators. And so, keep up the good work.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm having a blast doing this. I feel honored to be on the ground floor of this avalanche of atheism that's really sweeping the world right now. We're really seeing the beginnings of something amazing. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. And I just love being a part of it. Every day is fun as shit.
And you'll see both of us together at the Reason Rally.
That's right. Check out me and John Rhines at the Reason Rally. Dusty Smith and John Rhines together. And we're going to have a hell of a time there. Make sure you come up and talk to us. And we'll be filming the entire thing. So if you want to be a part of my videos, come say hello to Dusty.
Culture.
Right on. Well, I got to end the show, guys. Don't go anywhere. Usually I would read an atheist quote, but I'm not going to do it this time because we're already running over time as it is by about 27 minutes. But I think it was well worth it. So with that said, folks, I'm going to go ahead and play a song from Braden Square to take us out called Myth. So thank you, Braden Square, once again for letting me use your songs in my podcast. I appreciate that very much. So with that said, think for yourselves, don't die.
This is costless rap. Jews hear my music and run out the room like Holocaust is back. Europeans say that block can rap. Canadians say he off the map. How can you argue with that? Well, you can if you have your own agenda and been spoon-fed religion from the placenta. Call yourself a Christian, Muslim, I know you do. Any religion, bet it's the one your parents chose for you. And any admission of your doubts to someone close to you will not be accepted, cause forgiveness goes out the window when it's someone different. And I don't know what's worse, the fact that I'll never believe or that I miss that community through church. There's two ways to control a population, hope and fear. Prove the existence of a soul and we'll go from there. Otherwise, shut your mouth before you open it up to mention me, Braden Square. Yeah.
Every human culture has a set of creation myths.
Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, Christian
has a set of creation myths. Every human culture has a set of creation myths.
Jewish, Shinto, pagan, Wiccan
has a set of creation myths.
Spoon-fed this religion from the slave ship. They use faith to justify bringing slaves here. All the conducts and the rules in the good book. You swear by it, but fail to take a good look. You're completely sold. Just 2 centuries ago, slave owners swore you didn't even have a soul. Now you blindly defend a faith that was used to plunder, pillage, and rape a whole entire race. D.L. Hughley's never met a black atheist. I'll never know a faith based on a factual basis. So we're even, from Christian to Islamic law. And now they speaking up from Compton to Islamabad. They don't directly respond, they put it on their blog. Strawman attacks against me like I'm some kind of star. You poking at the hornet's nest. I'll lyrically destroy your faith just to warn the rest.
Every human culture,
funny man,
has a set of creation myths.
Yeah. Voodoo, Deist, Confucian, Amish
has a set of creation myths.
Yeah.
Every human culture,
everybody
has a set of creation myths.
Scientologists, Zoroastrians, astrologists
has a set of creation myths.
All the silver core explanations of nature. I'm Denzel in glory for shoes, I'll make it a caper. I have the scars of a slave in my DNA, so forgive me if I don't preach the faith like T.D. Jakes. See, I could never go to bed with said fiction. Genetic memory stores the trauma of shed whippings. Next victim, any faith that's ever suppressed women and skewed science and education for its best interests. For those who died for daring to question the system, and all the lives and power that they've abused since then. The stories were myth from the instant of its invention. That's where their power comes from, your belief in their fiction.